Welcome back, everybody, to episode 9 of Full Heartedly with
Kendall and with Galey. What is up, you guys? We're going to have a great little chat today. It has been a whirlwind of a week, of a morning, of an everything. And Galey, I know we have our little planning girl chats before we have our podcast, obviously, where we don't really say much, but we kind of chart it out. You were also traveling. You were also in a plane. And I heard there was some craziness that happened in a bathroom.
What is going on with us in airports and airplanes? I feel like we have a story every single time, but this one might take the cake. Okay, so I flew to Philadelphia because I am, wait for it, I'm launching a peel and stick wallpaper line.
Woo! Oh my God.
Yeah.
Quick side. That is amazing. I am so freaking proud of you. And also the peel and stick. I did that once in an apartment that I was in because I just needed it to not look like a white box and I hated it.
Sorry, Patch is really excited if you heard him.
As he should be because that's so badass. So anyway, I'm very proud of you, my doll. Just the beginning.
Thank you. Yeah, peel and stick I think is it because in 5 years from now, you can peel the particular one I'm doing. You can peel it off the wall and the paint doesn't come off. The drywall doesn't come off. All the people in apartments doing staging, and it's all going to be textured. So people will have no idea it's peel and stick. It'll feel really high end, and it'll be on Amazon, Wayfair, Home Depot. It's going to be everywhere. So I'm really excited. But anyways, this is not a shameless plug, but I kind of turned into that. But for real, so I flew to Philadelphia, crack of dawn, the 5 a.m. flight. And I get off the plane and I'm going to meet with WallQuest, who's doing my wallpaper, and to start designing patterns and see the factory and everything. So I want to look impossibly fresh after this 5 a.m. flight. So I scoop myself right into the first bathroom and I change really quick, and I'm doing stories on my Instagram about okay, quick change. Okay, now I'm doing my makeup and I have my AirPods in. So I'm listening to music, I'm recording videos and whatnot. And then I do my whole makeup routine. And then when I'm done, I take my AirPods out to put in my bag. And I realize that there is somebody in the bathroom who is violently ill, losing her cookies. I mean, it sounds like food poisoning on steroids. And it is just it is so loud. And I was oh my gosh, I've just been standing here listening to music, recording videos, doing my makeup, and somebody is literally dying 10 feet away from me in a stall and nobody else is in there. And I'm this poor girl just is losing it, and hearing me close the compress and put the mascara tube back in and listening to music, and she's dying. And so I go over to her stall and I'm hi, I'm so sorry what you're going through. Can I get you anything? And she's just "Ooh, ooh." And I was I can go get you, maybe I can buy a towel so you can sit on it, or do you want water? And she was no, ma'am, I'm good. Ooh, ooh. And I'm just oh my, it was so sad. I could feel her stomach just wrenching, and I was oh, okay, I'm gonna just let her do this in peace. So I leave. I put a bottle of water I had in my bag on the side, but I don't think anything's going down right now. And so I left, and I'm walking through the airport and I'm going to upload the story. And I didn't realize that the story of me doing my makeup also was capturing the volume happening in the bathroom. It turned captions on, but my volume was still down. And so I'm looking at it and I'm watching me do my makeup in this story. And then it just says captions that go, hi, hey, ho, hi. And then I'm what is going on? And so I turn the volume up. It's her going hey, and the captions auto-generated. So I was literally captioning her throwing up for my whole story. And I was delete, reverse. Oh my God, this is so awful. But I had no idea because my AirPods weren't in, and I was just watching the captions. And I'm who is saying hi and hey and ho and hello?
Oh my God. Oh gosh. Because it's I don't know why. Yeah. I'm doing that. I was getting it's almost contagious. The gag reflex is contagious. I'm oh God, hold on. I need to breathe. Oh, I was getting in my heart. That is wild.
Yeah.
That is wild. Because it's true. You don't realize what the auto captions are going to do. Sometimes I've wondered too, has anybody ever caught a ghost or anything like that? because there was someone like talking in the background, but there was no one there. And it's kind of like, okay, have I seen too much Paranormal Activity stuff? Probably. You know what I mean? Where it picks up on the captions.
No, I don't know. My brain has never gone there. Like, is there a ghost that I'm picking up on my video? You have watched way too much Paranormal Activity.
Oh, I love that stuff. I so love that stuff. Like, I've had some strange paranormal experiences in my life, particularly with people who they kind of like come back and let me know that they're good.
Okay, so you like paranormal shows. Do you watch that before you go to sleep?
Do I watch paranormal shows? Oh, God. I watch true crime before I go to bed. Or most of the books I'm reading right now are true crime. So like I'm reading one right now called Saint X, and it's about a murder that happened in the Caribbean. I don't think it's based off of a true story, but I think I grew up, like I read Helter Skelter, which was about the Manson murders when I was in the 5th grade. But true crime, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's adjacent, but there's something about it almost being real, or it is real life, that makes me feel like I'm protecting myself. I think I'm trying to learn how to not die while I'm a woman.
I almost feel like that's more scary because that's something that really happened to somebody versus somebody else's imagination about what a ghost looks like in a cathedral, at 3 a.m. Like, I don't know how you do that because I definitely would get nightmares. And I feel like everybody has these recurring nightmares that happen. And there's some that are very common. And then there's some that are really unique to each person. So I've been dying to ask you this. What are your recurring nightmares?
I'll bet you can guess one of them because you know how studious and like high strung I was, especially like in school. My recurring nightmare, and I had this throughout like my mental health struggles. So, and I think this is where it comes from because when I was really in that very depressed state in my senior year of college, right, where everything went really, 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 really rough, I was so at a cellular level afraid I wouldn't graduate on time, because I was pulled out of that first semester. And then I was in so much therapy that second semester of senior year. I was just so worried I wasn't going to graduate on time, and my mental health was going to be the reason why I kind of fell back. So my recurring stress dream is that it's literally senior year. I'm at USC and I sleep through my final and I'm like, I wake up late and I'm running and I'm like, oh my God, no, I'm going to have to take summer school. Okay, even if I did, whoop-de-freaking-do. Like, it's summer school. It'd be fine. A victory lap at USC, I think, is actually quite the victory. It would be great. Expensive, but great. But seriously, no, my recurring dream is that I'm going to miss a test or my final and I don't graduate USC on time. And it happens every time I'm hyper-stressed. Like, to this day, I'm 31 years old. I still worry I'm not going to graduate on time.
I have a similar dream, but it's that I guess I go the whole semester and then right at the very end, I get notified that I haven't shown up to a class that my advisor signed me up for. And I'm like, wait, I'm taking pottery or I'm taking linguistics, or like it's some random elective class that I didn't know my advisor in like the College of Communications at University of Florida signed me up for. And I'm like, oh, wait, so even if I go and take this final right now, I'm still failing. And they're like, that is correct. You have 0 attendance for the entire semester.
Yes.
You're going to get kicked off the track team. Your sorority's not going to want you anymore because you're a failure. And it's just like, it's that same dream. It's always that there was a class I didn't know about, because you better believe if there's a class I know about, even in my nightmare, I'm there. I'm handing in the papers early. I'm getting hundreds on the test. So it's that I didn't know there was a class.
Yeah, like you were signed up. I've had that same one where you were signed up for something and then you never went. And then it's like, if you don't get an A on you don't get like a 98, you're screwed, and you haven't been there and your attendance is poor. And then you feel like you let the professor down because you're like, I am an overachiever. Like, I would have been there raising my hand every class. Were you that kid in college? Did you always know the answer and you would raise your hand?
Wait for this story.
God.
So this is like the most defining Galey coded University of Florida story ever.
Okay.
So freshman year, I was in one of those big like lecture halls where it's like, a basic class, like I think it was History 101, literally. And I'm in there, and there were a bunch of really, really hot guys on the swim team also in that class. One in particular named Elliot, who I still adore today.
Are you friends with Elliot still?
Yeah.
You're getting blushy.
Elliot and I had this plan that when we both turned like 33, he was older than me. So when I turned 33 and he turned 34, if neither of us was in a relationship, we would get married. I turned 33 and relationship is happening. So there was no marriage. But yeah, really, really hot guy, but nice guy too. Anyways, so I go into this class and I'm sitting next to Elliot. And, every single time we get a paper, I hand it in like 2 days later, even though it's due in 3 weeks. And every time we get a test, I make all these long study guides and I would photocopy them and give them to the guys on the swim team so that they could use them to study. And I got a perfect 100 on every single test that semester. So then we're getting to the end of the semester and we're in this lecture hall. Literally, there's probably 400 people. It's like stadium seating, right? In this huge hall. And I'm somewhere like in the middle, sitting next to Elliot, trying to act like I don't try too hard, even though I was trying so hard to get best grades. And the professor starts out the class and he goes, all right, so this is the first, preparation class for the final for this semester. And I would just like to have somebody stand up. Galey Gravenstein, can you please stand up? And I was like, oh my God, what did I do? And I stood up in front of everybody and Elliot's looking at me like, what did you do? And he goes, I would just like everybody here, all of you freshmen and some sophomores, I would like everybody here to know that she handed in her paper 2 weeks early. No. Every time I signed a paper, she got a perfect score on every test. And for that hard work all semester, Galey, I'm automatically giving you a 100 on your final for the semester, and you can now leave. And Elliot just looked at me like, what is wrong with you? I handed him my study guide because, of course, I already made it and I already studied. I handed it to him and I was like, you can have that. Thank you. And I walked out and I called my mom and I was like, hey, do you want to go to Chick-fil-A? I don't have class anymore.
Oh my God. You literally
cannot make that up.
To the point that your professor was so enthralled with you. He's like, automatic A for Galey. Oh my God. Oh, I love that. Is so Galey coded, actually.
It is so me. And, in high school, my senior superlative was biggest overachiever. Like I've been psycho. And the only reason, by the way, that was a superlative was because I made sure to get into yearbook and get into that club so that I could come up with a superlative that I knew I would win, because I knew I wasn't going to get most likely to succeed, because my friend Kate for sure was going to get that. I knew I wasn't going to get most athletic, because even though I was very athletic, I knew my friend Autumn was going to get that, or Katie. And so I knew I wasn't getting best eyes, cutest couple. I was like, so what can I put in here that I will win? And I was like, oh, biggest overachiever. And sure, I got it. And I got my superlative in here. If you want to make things happen, you have to DIY it. You have to just get in and do it yourself.
Yes. And you did it. It's not rigging the system. You simply just put yourself in the right position to be able to make the decision. That is very true. You're like, if there's not a seat at the table, Galey's going to find wood, build a table, sand it down, stain it, and then be like, look, my table's better. And then bring everybody over to your table.
I truly believe in life, if there is a will, there is a way. And usually I have a will and I find a way to get my way.
Definitely with you on that one. That's true. I think what's funny too is making the decision that you're going to make something happen for yourself. We've talked about it before. It's like Delulu, being delusional is really the solution. It does pay off so much. But sometimes, especially when you're in a place of building or in a place of beginning, I feel this right now with everything I'm building career-wise. I have so many things lined up and I'm having all these meetings. And, this week I've been twirling like a tornado, trying to go from one thing to the next, and everything's networking, but I can't talk about stuff and I'm sick of not being able to talk about it. But it's I have to so believe in what I'm building and what I'm going to launch probably summer of next year, that even when I have the fear and even when I have the doubt, I'm like, no, I'm just going to build the table. I'm going to build everything that I want anyway. And you can't cut me out of it. I will make this happen. But it is you have to be able to envision and then believe in that vision. And they say it's like manifesting, right? If you're going to manifest something, you know what you want and you already have to obtain the vibration, act as if it's already happening. And there is something to be said for that. There's something to be said for acting as if the thing that you want or the thing that you're building is already in existence, and then you move accordingly to that energy.
No, I think that's so true that you have to think it into existence. So if you are not visualizing what you want, you can't expect it to happen because you're not eat, sleep, breathe. It's like the red car theory, right? If you are thinking about getting a red car and you're not sure exactly what shade of red, all of a sudden there's red cars everywhere. Every parking lot you see, every stoplight, you're like, wait, does everybody suddenly have a red car? And it's only because you're thinking about buying one, or maybe it's a certain brand of car and now you see them everywhere and you feel it, but it's because you're literally manifesting it because you're creating your own algorithm with your brain.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
You're being shown what you want to see and what you're interested in because your brain programmed you to be interested in red cars or BMWs or whatever it is you're thinking about.
Or the Defender that I really want to get that I couldn't stop thinking when I was in Malibu. Literally everybody had a damn Defender and I'm like, God, I really want one. And it's so true. Yeah, it is. It's like your brain has a programming and algorithm. And when you create the input and create the environment for the brain to attach and attack to the idea of what you want, it works. It's like everything. You just have to self-select the thing that you're going for, and the brain moves through it.
We're just going to keep having you do the ad reads for the Defender so that when the time comes, like, you will have manifested so freaking hard on this car that when you move to Florida, you get it.
Yes, I love that. I also need to manifest working really hard because I'm like, I have a car that I love and I don't really need it. And it's like, but yes, I'm with you. It's just making me fall in love with that car even more doing these ad reads. So thank you to you and to Casey to making me always do these ad reads because I'm like, God, I do want its beautiful design. I do want to look like the cool soccer mom without kids yet, you know?
For real though, you have the sexier voice, so you should be doing the ad reads for that. So like, that's why I keep giving it to you. I'm like, her voice is just so sexy and like soothing. Like, she needs to read the car one.
We're gonna talk about car. For those who embrace the impossible, the Defender 110 is up for the adventure. The iconic vehicle has been redefined with thoroughly modern design. The exterior is reimagined with compelling proportions and precise detailing. I can attest to that. I saw many of these going up the PCH in Malibu. Let me tell you, the Defender is trending. It is very, very cool. The interior is built with robust materials and integrity. The Defender capability is legendary. Whether you're facing off-road challenges, harsh weather conditions, or some parents in line at Kid in the Malibu Country Mart. Okay, the Defender 110 gets you ready to go and gets you where you need to go in style. To drive the Defender is to explore it with greater confidence. Powerful innovations like intuitive driver display and award-winning infotainment system keep you connected and plugged in. The Defender family has the two-door Defender 90. She's cute, she's fun, she's sporty. Okay, the Defender 110, my personal favorite, and the Defender 130, which seats up to 8. So if you have a lot of nuggets that you need to fit into the car, or maybe you have a lot of fur babies, that one is for you. The vehicle that is made to go further, it is the Defender 110, my dream car, apparently all supported by the moms and dads of Malibu. Learn at LandRoverUSA.com/Defender. Grab that baby today, and honestly, you'd fit right in.
You know what's funny is as we're talking about manifesting, I just realized I do this weird thing that I have done my entire life with how I manifest.
Yeah.
And it is when I'm in the shower every night. I don't ever do it in the morning for some reason, but when I am in the shower at night, you know how the glass fogs up from all the steam? I put every single night since I was little, I will write something while I'm standing in the shower, you know, letting my conditioner set or whatever. And I will write whatever I'm manifesting with my finger in the steam on the glass.
That's a great idea.
So for the longest time, I like when I was like having like the TV show, I would just write HGTV, just like, and I would look at it while I'm showering and like thinking through, okay, this is how many episodes it's going to be. These are the projects I want to do. Or recently, like with the wallpaper, and also I'm starting a furniture line. And I would write like the name of the collection, like in the steam. When I started to date somebody new and I was thinking about them, I would write their name and I'd put a heart around it. And it was just like this thing where I don't know. I think I'm manifesting so hard in my brain And the shower is like a really good time to be present and think, because you don't have any, like, there's no TV on. No, you can't look at your phone. Nobody's texting you. Like, you are just alone with your thoughts. And it's almost like they were so strong in my head, I had to physically release them and put them onto something. And so, yeah, and then it just disappears. But I like put it out into the universe.
Yeah. And it's true that there's this Dr. Joe Dispenza does a lot of manifestation work and teaches a lot of that kind of ideology. And it's true. And what's cool about what you're doing when you're doing it in the shower, I'm going to do this literally tonight. I'm so excited. This is like such a great tool. So I think everybody, let's take a note from Galey and let's manifest in the showers while you're naked and letting your conditioner set into your hair. No, but truly when you're writing it down, and I love that you're using your finger too. So you're doing something physical, you're creating a physical action, which then kind of triggers your neural pathway. And then on top of it, you're at a state of like calm and at a state of peace. You're not coming from something where there's other distractions. So it really is a focused, almost meditation. It's a focused moment. So when you're writing all those things down, you're actually building the plan in your head. You're building those little guideposts and like little flag and little alerts so that when your brain sees something similar, it's like, oh, if we're going to drive the car in that direction, and I know we're going to go to Florida, right? I know we're going to stay on the 95 coming from New York all the way down. You'll start to then trust and see different signs. It's like your body goes into autopilot because it knows what it needs to look for. So that's incredible.
I've always been so creative, and I like to, draw stuff and build stuff and create things. So I think when I was little, when I was in the shower, it was just like, it was like art, like I was creating art. Or if I liked a boy at school, I would write his name down and put a heart around it.
That's so interesting, because I know I was definitely the kid growing up. Oh my God, I think I've delivered and given like 17 million Oscar acceptance speeches.
You could still have that in you. Like you manifested it enough. It probably will happen, Kendall, at the rate you're going.
This is a quick tangent side note. So Alex and I were staying at our friend's house in Malibu this past weekend, and this really beautiful home in a place called the Malibu Colony. So literally, guys, everybody who lives there is like a rock star or owns a company or is famous in some like, somebody from a big band that I loved was the next door neighbor. And there was a huge actor that lived next door. These homes are nuts. They're absolutely gorgeous. They're on the water. It's like dreamland. Talk about manifesting, right? Getting a home in the colony is a big manifestation point at some point. They're stunning. Anyway, so we go into this house, and my friends, they rent out a house in the colony every summer. So the owner of the house isn't there, but they they leave their stuff, all that. One of my favorite things about going to houses in LA, particularly really nice houses, is you get to see all the hardware, like all the awards they have, because most people in Los Angeles are in the entertainment industry. We go in, it's absolutely stunning. We have this whole like apartment in the back, and it's all these old vintage movie posters, which when we do my movie theater room in Florida, it has to happen. I have to get like old Italian or old like Spanish or old French movie posters. It's my favorite thing on the planet. Anyway, they had an old Spanish movie poster of The Graduate, which is one of my favorite movies. So I was geeking out. And then on this like little shelf, there's all these Emmys. And so I look, there's a desk, right, on like this loft area. And underneath the desk, there's these two big kind of like, I guess, rattan bins where you would put blankets or something like that. Galey. I took a photo of it. I'll send it to you. In both of these bins is an amalgamation, big word, of it's all Emmys, all Emmy awards. There had to have been probably between the two bins, probably 15 to 30 Emmys. And the best part, which killed me, all of them are like sea-worn. Like there's like salt and they're oxidized and all this, because the doors and the windows always stay open. When you're by the ocean, it just, it kills your house. The wood warps everything. Like the sea air and the salt air just warps anything. Galey, they were like sea-damaged Emmys. They look like they came out of the ocean. Just in a rattan basket, like whatever. There's another Emmy. Like I was floored.
You've made it when your Emmys are like, I don't know, patinaed and just have corrosion from the salt. Like that's insane.
They were corroded patinaed Emmys in a basket underneath some random ass desk. And I'm like, oh my God.
This whole story is giving, like, you are Kate Winslet in The Holiday, where she flies over and she stays at Cameron Diaz's house, and she's famous in LA for making sounds for like trailers. Yep. And so she has all of these like Emmys, Oscars, I don't know what is what, all over the place. And Kate's like looking at it like, oh, whose house is this? Like, that is you.
That was exactly it. I was Kate Winsletting so damn hard. Just take Cameron Diaz's house in the holiday. Also, we love a Nancy Meyers movie, so hell yes to that. But truly, I was just looking at these Emmys, and I looked at Alex, and I'm like, this is the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life. That, like, it's a patina corroded slew of Emmys.
So actually, I take that back. Now it's giving The Holiday turned Titanic. So we're going Kate Winslet in The Holiday to Kate Winslet in the Titanic, and you just found the gems at the bottom of the ocean that have been corroded, and they've got coral growing on it, and those are the Emmys.
I'll never let go. Oh my God, yeah, it's nuts. It was absolutely nuts. So that was kind of a tangential offshoot of talking about manifesting, but it was one of those moments, I'm not going to lie, I might have like rubbed one of those Emmys and tried to clean it because I was just like, okay, I don't need 40 of them in a bin. Maybe just one day. Who knows? Who knows?
So speaking of you being on billboards one day, can we talk about the billboards you're on right now and the fact that your commercial just came out with Lululemon for their global campaign?
Yeah, so it's phasing in right now, and there's a big lead up to what we're going to be announcing. I have this big event. Actually, if any of you guys are listening, it hasn't been announced yet, but I have a big event coming in the beginning of October, and it's an alignment with World Mental Health Day. But that's really cool, this campaign, and it's funny. I actually shot it. That's why I flew to LA. That morning was the morning I announced I was leaving Peloton. So I'm in flight. I put that video up. You and I were texting. I was like, oh my God, it's been so stressful. I put that video up, my announcement video that I was leaving. Literally as the plane was taking off, I landed, and then I had 2 12-hour shoot days pretty much. And it was intense. I was boxing for hours. I was jumping. You know, any type of athletic shoot, you're actually doing the work. Like, you can't fake it. So I'm lifting weights, I'm doing all that stuff. But it was so incredible. It was such an amazing shoot. And you know what's pretty wild about the locations that we had for the shoot? This really got me. So this whole campaign is about moving together and how together we grow and we evolve because we have our connections and we're moving as one, especially after coming from pandemic where we all were so isolated. And it's ironic because for myself, I was so isolated from everybody on Peloton. Even though I was riding with them, I wasn't riding with them in person. So this is all about coming back together in person as a community. And I got really emotional, and so did my mom. We were going from the first location to the second location. And the second location, Galey, are you ready for this? We were right by USC. Mm-hmm. Yep, we were right by USC, and we are about to pull into base camp, and my mom grabs my arm. We are across the street from the apartment building that I lived in that night that I almost took my own life. I have not been anywhere near that vicinity. I usually stay a good quarter mile away just because I can't even look at that. I know I'm getting emotional because I can't even look at that building without remembering where I was mentally. And my trailer literally looked out over the roof line where I lived and where that moment was. And so I was talking to the team at Lululemon is amazing. And the girl I work with, her name's Ashley. She's fantastic. And she looked at my mom and I, and she's like, are you guys good? And I explained to her, and then she starts tearing up. And I was like, you guys, this is absolutely wild how full circle this entire experience is. And it was the day that I was announcing that I left Peloton, everybody talking.
And the campaign is for mental health, like World Mental Health Awareness. Like, talk about I have full goosebumps on all of my arms and legs right now. Like, talk about a full circle moment. That's like, it's like a God wink. It's like the universe being like, I got you, kid. Like, keep going.
Yeah, it was such a moment as to like, and I told my mom this, and I was so humbled by it. I was like, wow, because that night didn't go the way that it could have. This was the whole reason for that journey. And now we're talking about these stories, and I'm doing the work and building something really special to do even more in mental health and having these conversations. But it was because of that place. And it's wild because in all the gin joints in all the world, and all of the locations we could have been filming at in LA, the fact that we were right there, literally, I'm looking at it, just was unbelievable. You couldn't make it up. And then the next day when we were filming, we were right by where I worked when I worked at Snapchat. We were on the beach by where I lived. Like, every location was a spot that was formative in both my mental health chapter, but also my personal journey living in LA. So I'm really excited for this campaign. The photos are out now. I think the digital spot is already on like YouTube and such. But then there's going to be even more commercials and stuff. So if you guys hear my voice when you're watching TV, particularly football this year, what up? Yeah, but it's really special to me because of what it stands for and what this campaign means.
That is so freaking badass. And like, it couldn't happen to a more deserving person and like soul and somebody who's like genuinely has walked the walk. And I like, it's crazy too that like the whole process of filming like the biggest campaign you've ever had, with the fact that the intent is for mental health awareness, and it brought you on this kind of like, I don't know, this like blast from your past where you like revisited all these different steps of like how you got here. And it just gives me chills. You're just reminded how like not in control you actually are, and that everything that's happening is happening the way it's supposed to be. And if it feels really, really awful and you feel like you don't want to go on for some reason, you're supposed to be feeling that, but you're also supposed to go on. Like, you're supposed to push through the really hard stuff because eventually it passes and you might be shooting a commercial for Lululemon, you know, like with your mom by your side cheering you on, right? And you wouldn't get that experience if you hadn't pushed through. So I'm just so freaking proud of you.
There's this really interesting interview that Tom Hanks, he gives us advice. It's like an actor's roundtable. I think that Hollywood Reporter or Variety does right around award season. And this was from last year. And he was like, what advice would you give someone younger in the business? And obviously he's had such an illustrious career, all of that. And he was saying, he's like, my advice is this too shall pass. He said, if it's really bad, if it's really uncomfortable, if you're getting bad press or it's going terribly, this too shall pass. But he goes, but also when you're on top of the world and when you're getting all the attention and all the accolades and everything's going your way, this too shall pass. And we go through those phases in life. There's always going to be the highs. There's always going to be the lows. The only thing we know is that it keeps moving.
It's true. We have highs and we have lows, and we go through these phases, but eventually this too shall pass. It's important though too to remember like what you've learned along the way that helps make those lows a little less low, and maybe helps extend those highs a little bit longer, like being present in it, being grateful for it. I think that something I heard the other day, actually, I want to say it was like a Instagram post, like a quote from Harry Styles or something like that. But it said, you know, I think he said in an interview that he doesn't believe a single compliment anybody gives him or that they write on his posts or whatever, because if he believes all the compliments, then he has to believe all of the hate. So that's something that like has helped me with the lows more recently, is I try not to like read too many of the comments, or if I do read something really nice or really negative, I've already decided that that's their opinion, but it's not fact. And I just need to keep going.
Yeah, that's the importance of like pouring into yourself and understanding like you and the small unit of people who truly know you and really do truly love you. Those are the only opinions that can matter.
It's so true. And like the people that you, to your point, the people that you really care about and trust and are close to you, their opinions matter. And I think you can even take those with a grain of salt. But I still think that those are the people that you want around you. And where I'm going with this is I'm trying to make a really awkward transition into talking about where you and I are going to be this Friday, Saturday coming up, because I am surrounding myself with a lot of my favorite people, and we're about to do something totally wild, and we're going to be filming the podcast on location while we are doing this. Kendall, do you want to like tee it up?
I will tee it up. And what a lovely, that was like a hairpin turn, but honey, you did it. We landed.
It was rough. It was like my neck is hurting. That was really, we turned real fast.
It was a Formula One turn, but I'm very impressed. Well done. Yeah, so I'm super excited because Galey's coming to New York, but not to hang out, because when you move, girl, you move with purpose, okay? You move very purposefully. So Galey is doing an install for a friend of both of ours, and I'm very excited because I'm going to be helping out. So pray for me, wish me luck. I'm excited and I'm nervous and all the fun things because I'm going to help Galey on an install, and she has a super team of people, and then we're going to be recording the podcast after our first all-nighter. So bless. Pray for me. I have so much coffee. It's going to be stupid, Galey. And I know you.
I think I'm going to have just like an IV drip that we just put on wheels and we just like wheel it around whatever room you're in so that you just have a constant caffeinated IV flow. But yeah, so if you guys don't know Taryn Delaney Smith, you should. She is one of our dear friends. She was former Miss New York. She's got a new show that just came out on the Hello Sunshine Network with Reese Witherspoon. She is so freaking funny on social media. If you've seen like, if you've seen her like goblin videos with Tammy, like she is just like letting people into heaven or not. She is so freaking funny. And she just got married and just moved into like their big girl and big boy apartment that they're so excited about. And she has asked me to surprise her with an apartment makeover. So I've been ordering, we're doing like living room, dining, and bedroom. And I have been designing and ordering for months now. It has all arrived in New York. Our other friend, Shosh, who's also her business manager. I think we've all gone to dinner multiple times in New York, but we talked about Shosh in the very first episode. But our girl Shosh has been like helping open all the boxes and everything and then covering it with blankets so that Taryn won't see it. So sweet Taryn just got married and yet is living on a mattress surrounded by boxes.
It sounds like someone else.
You know, if you get too close to me, you're going to have my lifestyle because I will do the same thing to you. So yeah, she's been like, can't even see out her windows because there's so many boxes piled floor to ceiling in this apartment. She has no idea what's in. She gave me her credit card and a budget and let me fly free, which is what I do. I never talk about my designs with any clients. And so I have enlisted Kendall because she's fit. She's going to be able to do the long hours. She's New York based, so she knows her way around the city. And she's just got amazing energy. So that's really what I look for my install team. So we've got Kendall coming. We've got my right and left hand and one of my best friends, Maria. And then we've got my attorney, my entertainment lawyer, and also one of my best friends from college, Amy, coming. And then it'll be Shosh and her assistant, Kiana. And it's just going to, and my girl, Kay, who's my right hand on the install team and crazy handy. And she's also a lawyer, former supermodel. She's just all the things. So we just have the most badass group of girls that are going to come in here. Nobody knows what it's going to look like except for me. So there's just going to be a lot of pointing and directions. But we're going to be doing my new wallpaper in there on the walls. Yeah, we're going to be making videos. And we're going to record the pod on Saturday morning so that Kendall will have had a full day and night, Friday late into the night of install so that she can give you guys like an actual real experience and feedback of what install with Galey Alex Design is like.
I'm not shaking because I'm nervous. I'm shaking because I'm excited. I'm like I don't know. It's going to be a lot of things. It's been a long time since I pulled an all-nighter. I will tell you though, I get nervous when I see the sunrise and I'm still up. I'm going to tweak for a second. So just know that.
It is a humbling experience. And what I have found is that because we have a deadline, right? Like Taryn's coming back Monday morning. They have a Great Dane. So she and her new husband and their dog are going out of the city. And then we're moving in literally. And then they're coming back Monday morning for the reveal. And as always, all these videos always go up on our social media. So we'll have lots of fun videos so you can see the whole process. But Saturday morning, we are going to be doing the pod from install inside of this apartment. And I'm sure this will be the one that goes up on YouTube, but we'll give you sneak peeks of what's happening and it'll be wild.
I can't wait. If you want to see absolute delusion in the best way and giddiness, we're going to be so punchy. That's the thing with me. When I'm low on sleep, everything is funny. All my voices come out. I'm going to be very vocal. I'm going to have lots of voice with Galey. Okay, there's going to be the 17 sides of Kendall that come out. All the things that run around in my head, like Tina. Hopefully not Tina. Tina's a bitch. But all the other ones, they'll come out. Tina's my negative voice. Sorry if anyone's named Tina, because I loved Tina Turner, so I thought I'd name it something that I love. But yes, we're gonna be all up in it, and I can't wait.
Something that always happens on install is like around 2 or 3 o'clock, everything becomes funny and everything is suddenly an inside joke. Even if it's brand new happening in that moment, it's suddenly an inside joke and we are all just on the floor dying. There's unhealthy amounts of candy and carb inhalation because we're just like sucking it down. And then what happens is afterwards, you just want to sleep because the bottoms of your feet hurt. You just like, there's so much, like when you blow your nose and there's like, I don't know, sawdust and dirt and wallpaper glue in the tissue. Like it's just, there's like, you're just like still feeling it. So you sleep it off, you shower it off. And then you wake up and you call me and you're like, hey, I'm never doing that again. Like I'm too old. My body can't do it. I'm out. I'm not doing it again. But then what happens is like 2 or 3 weeks go by and you start to miss the high and the camaraderie of like all the girls blasting Jay-Z at 2 o'clock in the morning, eating Twizzlers and like throwing nerds at each other and like seeing you create something with your hands. And then you're like, okay, I think I could do this again. And that's why I separate my installs by a couple months, because otherwise if I were to do it every week, nobody would come back. But I need that high, that adrenaline that they want again. You got to like let it simmer and then it'll like marinate and then they want it again.
Yeah. You're like, you're like, you have to keep the right rhythm of it. Like you want it long enough where you're like, oh, I forgot how uncomfortable it was. I just remembered the good time.
Exactly. It's like those relationships where you're like, why did we break up? Like, and you just are thinking about the good times and then you see him again and you're like, now I remember why we broke up. Yeah. That's kind of what it is. But what I hope is that, you know, like a month from now, you're not like, Galey, I have a new recurring nightmare. And it's that I'm stuck on an install with you again. And I like, I can't leave because you won't let me.
You've literally chained me to like putting up wallpaper and I can't get it right. And I keep peeling and sticking and peeling and sticking.
Wholeheartedly is sponsored by BetterHelp. We all have self-talk. You know, that little voice in the back of your head that's telling you what to do or that you're not doing it great enough. And for me, therapy, thanks to BetterHelp, has been extremely helpful in getting my self-talk to be a little bit kinder. And one of my aha moments that I learned in therapy was that my therapist said, Galey, you're not successful because of your negative self-talk motivating you. You're successful despite your negative self-talk. Imagine how much further you could go if you were your own biggest cheerleader. So that's been one of my personal biggest takeaways from therapy. And it's why if you're thinking about starting in therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule, which I love. All you have to do is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Rediscover your curiosity with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/whole today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/whole, WHOLE. So that brings me to the Wholeheartedly pod. We asked a question this week, which is, what are your recurring nightmares? And you guys showed up. It was so funny, so interesting, and mildly terrifying to hear what is keeping you guys from your REM sleep. And a couple of things I'll say that I thought was interesting. So this is from a Harvard medical journal. They said nightmares can arise for a number of reasons. Stress, which Kendall, you said earlier, like when you're stressed, you have more nightmares.
Yep.
Stress, anxiety, irregular sleep, medications, mental health disorders. But perhaps the most studied cause is post-traumatic stress disorder, so PTSD. So if you think about it, like, I think this is so accurate. I mean, obviously, Harvard's got some street cred, but I agree with them. So when I was little, I watched the cartoon Disney version of Snow White. And do you remember the witch when she comes and like taps on the window where the dwarves are living?
Yeah.
And she's got that like hoodie on and that big curved nose, and she has the apple and she's like trying to get her to eat it. And she's like tapping. I have had this recurring dream ever since I was little that like she is outside my window tapping on the window, and I have to have like windows closed because I just won't be able to sleep because I'm still scared of this damn witch. And I think that I was so scared as a little girl watching that I got a little form of PTSD.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think I still have that recurring dream.
Oh my God. That's wild. Honestly, that is some of the Disney stuff. Like definitely Lion King rooted me in the fear. Oh God. See, thank you.
Bambi, like the parents are dying.
That's a narrative that happens in a lot of early Disney films. I'm like, what is with this like orphan parental, the parents die and then you're an orphan and all this stuff and then you're raised by other people. It's just like recurring narrative. Like if I were in film school and like Disney films was like an auteur director, I'd be like, okay, they have a narrative of having parental trauma. Like this is kind of wild that way. But I'm laughing at what Harvard was saying, that you get these dreams if one of these 5 things. And I'm like, yeah, I have all those. Okay, great. That explains why I get these sometimes. Like, this is great. Okay, the other one that a lot of people have, which I've had this before too, and my mom and I have talked about this because she has this sometimes. A lot of people have the recurring nightmare of their teeth falling out. Like there's so many responses, and it's teeth falling out, my teeth and hair falling out.
I've had that so many times, and I read that it was when you have a big change, something really big is about to change in your life, you have the dream of your teeth falling out, and it's because the first time your teeth fell out were when you were really little and you were going from your baby teeth to your adult teeth. And that's like a really big metamorphosis and like change in your childhood, is going from like losing all of your teeth and then the new ones coming in. So as an adult, when you're about to change a job or ask for a divorce or like some big change or move houses, a big change is coming up, that's when you tend to have the teeth falling out dream.
Well, that tracks, because right about when I was in contract negotiations, I kept getting that dream. So I would say that's accurate.
Okay, I think this one is really funny. In real life, I teach Pilates and yoga, and my husband is a surgeon. And my dream is that I have to do his job.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yes, I'm with her. As a fitness girly as well, I could never. Don't give me a scalpel. I could not cut into anyone or anything.
But like, that's interesting, right? Like she is kind of putting herself in her partner's job, and it's high pressure, and you're just standing there with like a scalpel and a body, and you have to, like, that is actually kind of terrifying.
That's awful. I have so much respect. Like Alex comes from a family of doctors. I know you do too. And it's fascinating to me, the idea of being able to do surgery and like talking about it at the dinner table. Like, oh yeah, I was in surgery today, or oh yeah, like I helped deliver a baby today and this happened. I grew up with a dad who was in like the tech industry and was in business. My mom was a stay-at-home mom and was like superwoman, PTA president, all the cool things. So for me, the concept of growing up around doctors just floors me because of the seriousness of your job. Like, it's life or death. Like, I don't know. I have so much respect for it. I couldn't do it.
The conversations we have at dinner time, because literally my mom, my dad, my sister, and both of my brothers all in medicine, and the conversation, and I'm not, like, most of the time I was at Goldman, but now I'm kind of entrepreneur, designer on my own. But all of those years, I would just sit there at like Thanksgiving. Do you know what we talked about? I cannot make this up. Last Thanksgiving dinner, they were talking about this procedure where when you have your colon and everything has been completely cleaned out, and you need to get good microbiome and good bacteria back into your stomach, what they do is they take somebody else with healthy feces and they put it in a tube and put it down your throat into your stomach, so that other person's healthy bacteria and their feces can start the colony again in your body. And I literally was sitting there, and they were talking about different procedures, different ways of doing it, the effects of it. And I'm just sitting there thinking, like, do they have no, like, they're just eating like their mashed potatoes with gravy while they're talking about this. And I'm sitting there like, how is this normal? How is this okay? Like, I cannot eat. This is literally our Thanksgiving conversation. And they were talking about it like you and I would talk about like Blake Lively and what's going on. Like, it was just like chit chat.
Oh my, the thing that I'm like, what in the human centipede is that? Because that is absolutely.
I'm sorry. This is not to be listened to while eating this episode.
No. And if so, you might be a doctor, or maybe you're in the medical field because nothing bothers you and you guys have stomachs of steel. it is so funny though, like those kinds of conversations, because it's just it's interesting what you grow up around and what's normal and standardized that you don't even think. Like I've never once talked about, surgery or something like that. Like my dad's parents, he grew up in a medical family, so he was more used to that. But I'm really grateful that he went into the business field. So then I just learned a lot about like what's going on in technology, cloud computing. We talk a lot about AI. It's actually very helpful.
I could see you using all of that. Like you're such an entrepreneur and you're very business savvy. And I've actually been really impressed when I talk with you about like your equity deals and things. Like, inside and out what you're doing, and you show up at the table and you don't have anybody kind of negotiating it for you because you know what you're doing. And I've just been really impressed. And I think that might be in part because you have a very business-minded father and like grew up talking about that. Okay, another one that I thought was interesting. Her recurring nightmare is falling down a never-ending hole that looked like chocolate and shoes were flying past her. That it's giving Alice in Wonderland meets Willy Wonka.
I was going to say Willy Wonka, yeah.
Instead of the clocks, it's shoes and like the chocolate, like she's falling down. Like I think this all came from her childhood, just like my witch dream.
Yeah, the falling down the never-ending hole scares the hell out of me. But when she said the chocolate and the shoes, I'm like, are these our vices? Like, are these the things that she loves the most in the world and she feels like they're controlling her, which is why she's falling down the hole? Because I do understand having a lot of love for chocolate and a lot of love for shoes. Same, girl, same.
Maybe it's like the things that she craves the most are actually going to kill her. So it's like her mind's way of like trying to get her to like keep it moving.
Stop buying shoes and stop getting so much chocolate. Although I'm never going to say that because I would be also falling down that hole with her.
So this one is, I'm stuck in a dirty bathroom with toilets overflowing. That sounds like a clean freak's nightmare, like just drama. Oh my gosh, I should ask you this. So one of my favorite questions to randomly ask people is, if to save your family's life, if you had to swim all the way across a full lap pool, like start at one side, come out at the other, and there's two different pools in front of you and you have to swim through it to save your life. One of the pools is filled to the brim with human feces. The other pool is filled to the brim with dead, like 5 to 10 day old floating bodies. Which do you do?
Oh my God, you know what? Probably the human feces.
Yep, same.
Yep, because if you've never, this sounds very dark and macabre, but we're getting into the fall season and we've talked about true crime. If you have never been around, if you've never smelled anything that's been dead and decaying before, let me tell you, you wouldn't even get 5 feet, let alone being in it. Like it is, and naturally as human beings, we're repulsed by that so much so, like people who work in crime and people who are like detectives and coroners, they like have to build a tolerance to exposure to that because it's such a putrid smell. Honestly, I'd swim through shit. Like, and also it's my family, so I will swim through it 3 times if I have to, or 40 times. Like, it's my fam. I would do anything. But yeah, I'll take the poo-poo. Because technically, think about it. If someone's ingesting poo-poo into your body to fix your gut microbiome, it can't be that bad.
Oh, I'd be like, sir, I got this. I'm going with the feces because this is a full circle moment to Thanksgiving with the Gravenstein family of doctors last year. And I feel very comfortable ingesting this through my pores if I need to.
Yes. And also, I would just do a backstroke.
I don't know. I think I'd go with a doggy paddle because I feel like I could keep my mouth, nose, ears, and eyes. Everything is kind of above the surface. And I feel like there's less chance I'd get sick. But you better believe for the next 3 weeks after this, I will be taking my vitamins like a champ. Give me every single vitamin there is, and I will sip and swallow it so fast. My Nutrafol pills are really big, and I take 4 of them every morning, and I do it all at once. Like, I throw some water in there.
You take all 4 at once?
All 4 at once. And sometimes I'll put, like, my iron or, like, my B12 with it, and I will just do all of it at once, and I just do one big gulp. So I know that if I was on MTV The Challenge and I had to do one of those things where you, like, eat really nasty stuff, because I don't have tonsils or adenoids. They got cut out when I was really little.
Really? Me neither.
I got one too. Yes. Oh my God. So I saw this thing that says you probably have better breath than most people if you don't have tonsils or adenoids, because you can't get any of the little stones that grow on them and make bad breath. So I was like, oh, like maybe this just does benefit me in my adult life.
Actually, that's a good point, because you know how much coffee I drink, and I'll be like I'll be in a makeup chair or something, and they could totally be lying to me, which is very likely as well. But I'm like, I'm sorry, I just had coffee. They're like, no, I can't smell anything.
I've never actually smelled you with coffee breath, and I've only seen you ever with coffee. So I think that's true. You've just got good breath forever.
Adenoid and tonsil free, baby.
Woo!
Mine were enlarged, and I was getting strep throat a lot as a kid. So they had them taken out. And then I've also had my nasal passages done twice. I don't know why. I guess my ear, nose, and throat, my nasal passages are super, super small. And then I would have, oh my God, it was nuts. I had it done when I was a really young, like little, like probably like 6. And then I had it done again my sophomore year of college. And when they cleaned out my nasal passages, they found like shards of bone and stuff. And I'm like, I never broke my nose, I don't think. Like, it was wild how bad that was, because I was just I've always had ear, nose, and throat issues. So I would get a lot of strep throat leading up to getting my tonsils out. And then I would get a lot of ear and sinus infections I'd get all the time.
Oh, I still can't eat like the chicken and stars, like Campbell's chicken and stars. Do you remember that like soup? Because that was all I ate for like 2 weeks, because I just could hardly swallow anything because it hurt so bad from the scars. So I still, like, to this day, like I can't even smell it. But I'm good with chicken noodle. But I also had my appendix out. Did you ever have that? Yeah.
No, it was funny. The other day outside when we were in Malibu, we were walking back from a restaurant, and I got this really weird pang. And I think it was just from sitting in the plane and being kind of all over, and my body was very tight. My hips were really tight, because my hips are still relaxing after all the cycling that I did for years at Peloton. Like, it's wild how my body's starting to come down from everything. But anyway, I had this pang, and he went into doctor mode, because obviously having family. And he's like, wait, what side? How far up? Is it here? Did this hurt? Can I touch it? If I touch it, does it like really hurt? I'm like, no, it's just like kind of tight. He's like, okay, I don't think it's your appendix, but if it gets worse, we're going to the ER. It's like, okay, babe, I think I'm good. It's just a muscle spasm, but
he is spot on. Like, if you feel a pain and it's on your like right side and a little bit up, and you're tender when you touch that area and it feels kind of inflamed, like that's exactly how you look for it. But mine almost burst, and that like you can get like you can go septic.
Yeah, septic. Yeah, you can actually die from it if you don't get it attended to.
Yeah. But luckily, I've had all these little things out, and I'm still here, and I'm still cranking. And I had my blood work done a couple days ago, where I did like a panel just to get an update. And he called me, and he's like, so I don't know if this is good or bad news, but it looks like you're going to live forever. And I was like, oh, that's great news, because I'm just so on top of like all the vitamins, and like don't do dairy and red meats and stuff. And so like alcohol. So like my body is good. And he's like, except there's one little issue. And I was like, here we go. And I was like, does it start with a C? And he goes, mm-hmm. And I was like, my cortisol. And he goes, yeah, it's kind of off the charts. He's like, are you going through like, I don't know, like a legal battle, a divorce? Are you moving? Are you getting fired from your job? Are you like selling a company? Like what traumatic thing are you going through right now that has your cortisol so off the charts? And I was like, oh, that's just like my status quo. I've been that way since like, I got 100 on every test freshman year in college. Like I just stress about everything until I get it perfect. So I was like, I think that's kind of status quo for me. And he's like, all right, well, you might need to check that out.
Okay. Well, this upcoming weekend doing the install may or may not help, but I at least will hopefully be entertainment, as well as I'm very good. I'm handy. So we will bring that cortisol level down just a little bit, and then we'll boost it back up with the candy. But you know what? It'll balance. It'll be a fun trip. Okay. Speaking of that, what are we working on this week leading up to our install together?
So I am working on something that I learned from that blood panel, which is that I need to get my cortisol levels down. And one of the best ways to do that for me is to sleep more. because it's going to be very hard to rewire my brain to not obsessively CDO everything. And so I have started over the last few days in the middle of the day, when I hit that little like lull around like 3 o'clock, I will just shut everything down and I will take like a 30 to 40 minute nap. And I've never done that in my entire life. And then at night when I'm going to bed, if it's after midnight, however much time it is after midnight, I will change my alarm clock so that instead of waking up at 5 a.m., if it's like 30 minutes after midnight, then I'll wake up at 5:30. So I'm still giving myself back that time. And it means Galey tomorrow is going to have to deal with not being able to blow off the whole yard because she woke up a little bit later or whatever. But it's prioritizing my sleep, which I think will get blown to hell on install when we work all night for 3 days. But it's my new thing that I'm trying. What are you doing?
I have to say I'm in full support of you for that. And I'll tell you, when I quit Peloton, that was the number one thing that I was trying to do, was get my sleep back, because it was so all over the place and all the stress and everything building.
How is that working for you? Because you are literally going 1,000,000 miles a minute, doing meetings, plane rides across the country every other day. So how's that sleep going for you, Kendall?
You know what? This week, it was the first week it was back at total ass. And I think that's where it's so funny how much it throws off just even your emotions, your resiliency to deal with like external stressors, not be overwhelmed. It's been a beautiful, wonderful week of 1,000,000 different things, but I cannot wait for this weekend. My mom and I, what we're doing, Alex is at a family wedding that I couldn't attend with him. So she and I are going to go through all my closets. I'm getting ready to rent out my place in New York, New Jersey. And we're going to do that together. And so that's it. We're sleeping and we're cleaning out closets and prepping my house and purging everything. So it'll be a great week to kind of reset. So I think my biggest focus, which is funny, is giving myself grace when I have a week that I couldn't do things to the level that I would have liked to have them done. Part of this transition to working for myself and being entrepreneurial is that there is no set schedule anymore, and I have to build it. And I have to understand that certain weeks, the priority this week, there was a lot of great networking. There was a lot of important business meetings, and those took precedent. And I risked my sleep and my normal standard of health and whatnot to make that happen. So it then, yesterday when I put out my newsletter, it was later than I wanted it to be. And I feel behind on my content and all those things. And that's where I have to give myself some grace that the priorities sometimes have to shift week by week as I'm building this life for myself.
Such a good newsletter, by the way. The lemon orzo, I'm literally trying it tomorrow. I love orzo, and I was like, this letter was for me. She is telling me that I have to make this because it's the only like pasta rice, because it's kind of like right in the middle, that I will eat. And yeah, it just looked delicious. And I was like, oh my God. So if you guys are not signed up for Kendall's newsletter, you are missing out. It comes out every Friday. It's like something to look forward to. It's almost like you get it Friday night and then you have the weekend to read through it or listen to the music or try the like gratitude journal idea or make the recipe or whatever. Like try the workout. Like there's so many things in there. You sign up at kendalltool.co. And yeah, I've never signed up for a newsletter. I don't read blogs. I'm not into that stuff. I'm obsessed with yours. So sign up, guys. Okay. Well, I think you should be giving yourself grace. I love that that's where you're going and, with what you're working on. And I'm going to get some more sleep. And then we're both going to lose all grace and all sleep on our 3-day install for Taryn, and we're going to surprise her next weekend. And just thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for hitting the like button. It makes it easier and more possible for us to keep doing this. So thank you every time you hit it. And you can find Kendall at Kendall Tool. The newsletter, again, is kendalltool.co. And our Instagram is at wholeheartedlypod, and I'm at Galey Alex on TikTok, Instagram, all the places. And we love you guys and we appreciate you.
So as we're about to sign off and doing things with your whole heart, we didn't pick the song. What do you think the song should be? I think it should be in reference to your former story, Galey? What do you think?
I think it should be Hello by Martin Solveig and Dragonette. If you know that song, I'll let you sing it. I just came to say hello. Okay, we're doing Hello because that was the auto caption on my phone from the Philadelphia bathroom.
Bless that poor child. Bless that girl.
Bless her heart. I hope she's getting electrolytes this week. But yeah, thank you guys. We love you so much. We appreciate you with our whole heart, and we'll be seeing you from New York. Bye.